Greetings to everyone. Today, we would like to present question number 1 related to the offer and acceptance. Based on the given situation, we found two issues that can be raised in this question. The first issue that can be raised whether Irene or Ideal have fulfilled the mode of acceptance. Second is whether Irene had the capacity to form a contract. Further explanation will be continued by our team members.
For the first issue, the provision that applies in this case is Section 2B of Contracts Act 1950 that defines acceptance as when the person to whom the proposal is made signifies his assent thereto, the proposal is said to be accepted. A proposal, when accepted, becomes a promise. Under Section 7B of Contracts Act, in order to convert a proposal into a promise, the acceptance must be expressed in some usual and reasonable manner, unless the proposal prescribes the manner in which it is to be accepted. In this case, it does specify that the mode of acceptance is on first-come, first-served basis. According to the mode of acceptance specified by intent, Irene is the one that fulfills the requirement as she sent her letter of acceptance on 2nd February 2017 to signify her acceptance. Section 4, Subsection 2A and B of Contracts Act provides for the communication of the acceptance where there is a gap of time between the communication of acceptance by the acceptor and the receiving of the communication by the proposer. In relation to postal communication and telegraph, acceptance is complete upon posting or dispatching of the telegram, and this is called postal rule. Under common law, the rule is that acceptance is complete once the letter is put in the letterbox. So in this case, the communication of acceptance by post was complete when Irene sent her letter of acceptance on 2nd February 2017, and Irene is the one that has a contract with Intan. Due to the mode of acceptance being first come first served basis, Ideal did not have any contracts with Intan.
In Adam and Linzel, the court held that there was a valid contract in the moment the letter of acceptance was placed in the post box. Same goes on in Hampton and Fraser. The court held that the agreement had been formed when the moment the letter of acceptance was posted. In the above situation, since Intan received the letter from Irene, this shows that there was a legally binding contract between them. As for the case of Evans and Smith, it was held that the rule that applies to telephone communication is when the acceptance is heard, then there was an acceptance happen and vice versa. The same rule applies in the case of Bakwandas and Girdari Dalal, where it was held that there was a contract formed between the parties because this acceptance was duly communicated to the appellant. Thus, since the communication of proposal through telephone is complete, there was a legally binding contract between Ideal and Intan. Lastly, for Lefkowitz and Great Monopolies case, the court held that there was a contract that bind between the claimant and the defendant, as the advertisement was an offer that the defendant would transfer the goods to the first person to respond. Thus, in this case, Irene has the right to the goods as she was the first person to respond to Intan. Next, I will pass the floor to my member.
Issue number 2. Whether Irene had capacity to form a contract. According to law, under Section 11 of Contract Act 1950, every person is competent to contract who is the age of majority according to the law to which he is subject, and who is sound mind and is not disqualified from contracting by any law to which he is the subject. The application, the contract between Irene and Intan was void because Irene is bankrupt and does not have legal capacity to enter into a contract as she is bankrupt. Intan knew about the incapability of Irene after she agreed to make a contract, but Irene knew she was bankrupt beforehand.
Okay, for the second issue, it can be noted that Irene had decided to sell her smartphone to Intan based on the first come, first served principle. Later on, she discovered that Intan had declared bankruptcy. Applying the case Fu Fat Chuan and Jacobson Chong Wang 2012, Intan had formed a contract when she conveyed her acceptance via postal, which reached Irene before Irene communicated her through telephone. However, the contract was void as a result of Irene discovering that Intan was bankrupt. Therefore, there's no contract formed between Irene and also Intan.
In conclusion, there is no contract between Intan and Irene, as Irene had declared bankrupt even though she had submitted the letter of acceptance by post 4 p.m. on 3rd of February before Aidil had communicated his acceptance 10 p.m. on 3rd of February by telephone. Therefore, there is no contract that exists between Intan and Irene or Intan and Aidil. Intan is not obligated to sell the smartphone to either of them.